So anyway, I just want to start off. I did want to certainly thank everybody for coming today. I really do appreciate it. Especially good to see the retired folks. Thank you, Ed and Gary and Hugh, and let's see if anybody else.
Bill had to leave.
Bill was here and he left. And Ralph.
And Dennis.
And Dennis, yeah. They hadn't been retired long enough to really say they retired. But anyway, I really do appreciate that. And then, of course, I want y'all to be sure everybody met my, everybody knows Reese, I think, for sure, since he works at Mill. And then Adam's my #2 son, and he lives in Charlotte. And I think that's a second.
Well, that Reese is special.
Anyway, he has 2 children, which we enjoying a lot, and probably will enjoy some more, or whether we will definitely enjoy more going forward, have more time to spend. But anyway, like I said, I just got to thinking. I have been in the industry now 40 years, 30 with Bowater, 10 with IP. Now, really, I don't think that I've ever been off 2 weeks in a row. I think I've always, seriously, I've never been gone from the mill more than two weeks. So it's kind of felt like I'm on vacation, right now. The first week and second week still kind of on vacation. But that's probably getting ready to wear off. But I guess one thing, like I said, that's what I can remember. 2 weeks is probably about it. But sometimes my memory is not as good as what it probably ought to be. Matter of fact, some of my co-workers kind of bring that to my attention from time to time. I'll bring up something and they'll say 2 things. They'll say, well, it's amazing what you can remember. They've told me that it really amazed me, the things you can remember after I say something. And then they come and follow that up with, they're also amazed by what I can't remember. So I really don't know exactly how to take that. I took it on a positive. It's probably the things that I remember that I really couldn't remember so much about was a lot of times was off days they were wanting to have off. I'd get that fouled up some way or another.
I'm impressed you remember that.
So anyway, that was just a little bit about my memory. But anyway, this 2 weeks has been more just kind of like vacation. But it's been pretty good. It's been good. I've enjoyed not having to worry about the weather and having to fight it. And I have been thinking about y'all because I know it's been difficult. And also it's also that 2 weeks is probably the longest that Jonelle and I have ever been continuously together. So.
Anybody know a good divorce lawyer?
How's that work out? So really, so far, everything's been going pretty well. Like I said, it's only been 2 weeks. So hopefully everything will be all right. I'm sure maybe there might be some suggestions. Maybe Ralph and Hugh and Ed and everybody retired folks have some suggestions. Dennis. So I've been we've been working on that, but everything's been going pretty good there. I guess my biggest thing is, going forward is really, what am I going to be doing? I don't have a whole lot of sports or anything like that to do, or a lot of hobbies, but I think probably I'll be able to find something. One thing I was thinking of was, which I probably won't, was golfing with Dennis. Dennis sent me an email the other day that he goes golfing 3 times a week, and he's really talking Lynn really liked the golfing part because I think he was gone. So think about that. I may want to take up some fishing, and I suggested to David Clemens that I might start fishing with him. But I guess I had a little bit of second thoughts on it because he's got one of those fishing boats that's got one of those 250, 300 horsepower motors on the back. And you see, he'll fish for 5 minutes in one place and he'll crank up and go 50 miles an hour across the lake or something else. So I don't know if I want to take that risk, but I might look into that. Yeah. Also, I thought about maybe taking up bicycling. Both John and John are big bicyclists. They got these fancy bicycles and got all the get up and all that kind of stuff. And so you'll see them you know, pedaling down the road, and I guess that's one of the big contentions that we have. My opinion is that the roads are for cars, not for bicycles. So we've had a lot of discussion on whether they should even be on the roads or not. So I'm gonna have to get me one of those if I do that. All right. So I'll have to think about the bicycle. I guess it would be a little bit. What's the word I'm looking for? I've been against riding bicycles on the road, so I don't know if I can really do that or not without kind of backing up on what I have said in the past. Also, so I could be a courier. I've met Bill Bogle this week. He's a courier. I saw Mike Baker here a couple of months ago, and he's a courier, and there's a bunch more that's doing their courier work, but I don't know that that's necessarily what I'm going to do. But I guess
drives too slow.
That's an yeah. Probably right. I drive too slow to get there. The other thing I could probably do is start painting with Ralph. Ralph and I can start painting. I don't really like painting a whole lot, but I don't mind it either. But that's just something that Ralph and I could probably both do, make a little extra money on the side. So that's a few things I could do. Going forward, I guess, you know, really I'm not going to miss the paper mill. What I'm kind of saying, you know, it's good to get away from it, not have to worry about it all the time, not have to, I guess, call y'all on Saturday and Sunday morning. Y'all probably miss me calling, I'm sure.
Make us aware.
And miss all the people. All y'all are just a real outstanding bunch to work with. I don't think I could ask for a better bunch to have to work in. And in my 40 years, I don't know of any other group that I would want to work with. Y'all are really an outstanding bunch. Not just y'all, but all, you know, all the hourly people that's working there too. I really enjoyed that. I guess, like I said, the other things, you know, won't miss the boiler trips, turbine trips, power out, purchase power trips, cold weather. See, I don't have to worry about it. I'm not suspicious anymore. But other things, like I said, I'm going to miss is like I get to know Mark here the past, I guess the past 10 or 15 years. We've been coming in about the same time in the mornings, and we really didn't know it until we both got our offices across from each other. So I've enjoyed getting to know Mark, and while I was going through the PI system and reading the email, Mark and I had some pretty good discussions. Enjoyed that. I enjoyed our morning meeting we had with the foreman. We always run over the key measures and everything. And it's one thing I'm going to miss as far as Chuck. Chuck, when he's on the night shift, and work 12 hours a night, and I would be trying to, you know, relieve and find everything that took place. You know, one reason I sat in this chair and I sat where I did was to try to keep the foreman trapped so he couldn't get out. They might not know that. But Chuck was very difficult to keep contained at night. I mean, coming off the night shift. So that was one of my objectives, was trying to keep him contained while I found that everything happened. He was, but I don't blame him. After working 12-hour nights, I'd be ready to go home too. I'm gonna miss our lunch discussion. We've had some pretty in-depth discussion. Y'all go ahead and just eat, and I'll just keep riding.
You don't have to get back to work.
I'm gonna miss our lunch discussion. We had some pretty in-depth ones. A lot of things we covered. Of course, starting out with, y'all can see they critiqued my lunch. I was pretty consistent on what I brought. It didn't change very much. Every now and then I'd change up and bring 5 crackers instead of 4. And David was very observant. He would pick up on that kind of stuff. So I was glad that he was observant enough for that. But the other thing was that some of the group, I always planned and knew I was going to need a lunch. Some of the group would realize around 11 o'clock that they did not bring a lunch. So they would have to scramble around and try to find one. I'm not going to name any names or not, but There is one or two in here that had a little trouble on realizing lunch was going to be about 11:30, 12 o'clock every day. Other discussions we had was on the big oil companies. Chuck and I really had a lot of discussions on that. I was a proponent of the oil company, especially when gasoline prices got up $3 or $4 a gallon. And we had some good discussions. He always said that oil companies make too much money, but I didn't agree with him, but I enjoyed those discussions on oil stuff.
You must have oil stuff.
BP. No, not BP.
No, you had Charlie chickens.
The other thing we'd have was political discussions.
Here, here.
And I really enjoyed the political discussion.
No, I got both through.
I guess I felt like it was them against me most of the time, except for the foreman. The foreman was pretty well, he most of the foremen were, they didn't say too much, but they kind of took my side that they felt, how you know.
Can I sit down here?
You sure can. Here's your lunch. But anyway, we had like y'all go ahead and eat. Don't y'all can listen to me. Politically, John Hornsby, if y'all don't know, he's probably more on the, I guess politically correct would say on the progressive side, which is a disguise for a Democrat. Matter of fact, probably in this election, last election, he may have even voted for Allen Green. I'm not sure. So we've had some pretty good discussions politically. John Nixon. You probably might not know it, but I really think that he's a closet Republican. And the reason I say that is that we went on a trip to Calhoun one time.
I was forced.
And he was very adamant that he wanted to listen to Rush Limbaugh on the trip.
That was the longest.
So we listened to that, but the only way I would agree to doing that is that we would also listen to NPR when it was. So that's what we did, and like that's when I found out that John was really a closet Republican.
The other way around.
The other thing, I guess David Clement, we had a lot of discussion. David, in my opinion, is apolitical. That's what he was when he came there in 2003. However, I think he has just gradually he's easing a little bit more to the conservative side. Once he's realized, when I kept talking about Fox News, and once he realized that Fox News was not Channel 18 in Charlotte, then he started watching the right channel. So that's he kind of grown over into that. One other thing, while we're talking about David, I am picking on him, and that's probably because he deserves it, is that David is very competitive. He really likes it. He's very competitive. And so there's a couple of things that he kind of challenged me on. One of them was, I guess, in one of our political discussions. Like I said, y'all go ahead and eat that because y'all scared. I got plenty. I got all day. So in one of our discussions, we got on to whether you should legalize drugs. Of course, I was against that because I thought that if you legalize drugs, it would addict you to stronger drugs and that kind of thing. So they were kind of, John and maybe David, they were kind of taking a position where if you legalize it, then it wouldn't be as big a deal and people wouldn't be wanting to use it, and the price would go down, get taxes on all kind of stuff like that. So anyway, we got to talk about addiction, and so David challenged me on I drank a Coke you know, every day I had a coach at work. Usually don't change from that. It's got the sandwich in there and cooked crackers and everything you won't fail. So he challenged me, said he didn't think I could stop drinking a Coke. I said, well, I believe I can. I know I can. So he said, all right, let's challenge. He challenged me. I said, well, how long do we want to do it? So we put it up there. I said, we said 30, 35 days. We'll put it up there. And then I asked him, I said, well, what are you going to give up, David? And he said, well, he got to thinking, and he said he just didn't know. So I told him, he said, well, you tell me, what do you want me to give up? So I came up with something. And just,
Go ahead.
Okay. I said, well, you ought to be able to give up sex for 30 days. so he kind of swallowed and never did say anything. I didn't say too much more, so I assumed that's what the challenge was. So I put up on the board, over our whiteboard up there, every day that I went without a Coke, I put it up every day. I never did see David. He never did add to the So anyway, he really didn't comment on it a whole lot after that. But anyway, I did go, just for the record, I went, 30, 35 days. I did not have a Coke. I didn't drink one on the weekends. I didn't cheat or anything like that. So I didn't make it 35 days without drinking a Coke. Now, I'm not going to ask David how he came out, but I feel like I won on that. And the other thing, I guess that we had a challenge on, like I said, David's very competitive. And we both went, several of us went to the EMBA program in Wentworth. And I went way back in, I guess, about 89 and 90. John Nixon went and when, John? 2000. No, we didn't. And then David went in 04, 05, something like that. But anyway, he was always wanting to know, what was your grade point? What was your grade point? Because he was wanting to beat me. And I said, well, I can't remember exactly, and I couldn't remember, exactly what it is, but he took it by that. He said, well, you already told me what I wanted to know. I said, what was that? I said, you did not make a 4.0. I said, well, how do you know that? He said, well, if you would have made a 4.0, you would have known. That's right. So then I told him, I said, well, you could make more than a 4.0. Back when I was on college. And I don't, I think I even had a couple of people that actually told him that you could make more than a 4.0 back then. I don't know if you remember that or not. You don't remember that? I thought, yeah, I think a couple of people told you that. Anyway, so your memory's not too good. I remember when Barry Baker told you that. So anyway, to just set the record straight, Baz, I hate to say it, David, I did make one beat when I was working, so you did beat me.
When did you find that out?
I've known that ever since. I was just looking for the good opportunity to tell you.
For the record, this is when I just found out he has never
Well, I was waiting for the opportunity. So, anyway, that's enough for David. But anyway, I guess I've really enjoyed working with everybody. Worked with Jubin. Learned a lot from Jubin the past year, 6 months.
We've been like brothers.
I guarantee you, we've been right on it. He taught me a lot of stuff on electricity. He even taught us some stuff we didn't want to know, didn't he? And then he taught us some stuff that he didn't think that we would understand. But anyway, it's been good working with Jubin over the years. Like I said, I've worked with him a lot here the past year, so that's been enjoyable. Appreciate Jeff's, Bill's help over the years, Mel's help. Randy, got to know Randy a little bit better since he got over in the power plant. But he's been a big help. Like that, Mark, and of course been working with Larry for years and years, and I really appreciate all the help he's given. And of course Phil, he got here a little bit late. They said he was snowed in.
Snowed under.
Snowed under. That's what they did say. Snowed under. I said snowed in.
Yeah, they had to have their numbers.
But I did listen this morning. I don't know if y'all listened to the conference call. Did y'all listen? Y'all didn't know there was a conference call by the Richard Grenot, who is the CEO of the company? Y'all did not listen to that?
We're still in the morning meeting.
Where have y'all been?
We're still in the morning
Must have
meeting.
been where Forrest went. We didn't know, we didn't.
9 o'clock, there was a big conference call.
We're still in the morning meeting.
So
What is it, French?
well, really, he didn't really say anything that was that outstanding, nothing that really new. So I thought maybe y'all would have had a little bit more insight than what I had on it. It was just talking about, I guess the thing that he did say, just to say on a positive side, I mean, y'all are gonna have a lot of challenges ahead of you going forward. But really, you know, in my opinion and his opinion too, that, you know, everything's a lot more positive looking. He commented, I've heard him comment several times on the Catawba mill about it being a low-cost mill, and not to say that he's not going to try to help reduce the cost more, but he was very positive on the mill and on the company and on spending money where the companies, where the mills that could make money, continue to make money. So going forward, I think y'all will have a better, I guess a lot better opportunities, or it's going to be a better environment going forward than what we've had the last couple of years. It's probably going to be more challenging because of the number of people that you have, and it's probably going to be even more pressure to increase, to reduce your costs. But long term, in my opinion, y'all have got, you know, the best mill in the country, probably almost in North America, in my opinion. You got, in my opinion, the best people. So I really think that y'all will have a very good future ahead of you, and I wish all of you the very best of luck. And that's about the end of my little speech.
Well, let me say that I'm certainly